All right, so look, Tarik Skubal's back in Detroit. He's pitching for the Dodgers.
What?
And I'm accused at times of overthinking some things. But I put a lot of thought into this one.
Here we go.
And well, do you want to go first and what your emotions are or your thoughts on this return?
I don't feel like this is as big a deal as I thought it would be a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I think we're at the point now, this team is in the doldrums. They're just not a very good baseball team right now. They're not good enough anyway to where you'd say, oh, they can make this run. And it's not been entirely because they missed the two starting pitchers they traded. I mean, the hitting has gone away. Green got hurt. Dingler isn't hitting. I think
those are two huge factors.
Those are two big factors. I think that also, by the way, I mentioned yesterday that I said that I would, if I were the Tigers, I would strongly consider waiving Gleyber Torres, just because doing him a solid, let some other team pick him up. Gleyber Torres hasn't done anything for this team in the last couple months either. I mean, since he got healthy in July, he's hitting like 219. It's not very good for him, and I think he's a really good player, but I don't. Is he affected because he wasn't moved to the trade deadline? Is he down because he's missing an opportunity to play in the postseason? I'm not doing it for his sake. I'm doing it for the Tigers' sake because Max Anderson deserves to be brought up at some point. And some point may have been a month ago. But my feelings on Skubal, they really kind of remain unchanged. I've always been pretty open-minded about him. I get upset that of course he could say anything he wants because he ultimately controls his destiny. It's not Scott Boras. He does. I think he's weak letting Boras do all the talking for him. And then towards the end, he was a chatterbox. He started opening up and saying all types of things. And he was saying a lot of it was good stuff. But in the end, we still know what the result is. You're not going to sign here, no matter what you say. But I remember him as being a Cy Young pitcher, and he still is. He's great. He's fantastic. I wish he were a Tiger, but he's not. And I would have traded him in the offseason. But the Tigers waited until the trade deadline, and that's fine. They do whatever they're going to do. But I'm not. If I were going as a fan tonight, I would not boo him. I would probably give a light applause, let him tip the hat to the crowd because he gave us some amazing years here. 2-time Cy Young Award winner. But I don't have to go crazy about it. It can just be a respectful, hey, how are you? And then move on. I had way stronger feelings about Verlander when they moved him because he didn't want to go. He wanted to stay here. And it didn't happen. They traded him at the 11th hour. And, when he came back, it was a different thing. It was like, oh, we missed JV. And then he went out and won a World Series and feel good for the guy. And now he had the situation this year, which is kind of ironic. But, yeah, I don't feel – I'm kind of in the middle on this. It doesn't bother me with the whole Skubal situation of him not wanting. I get it. It's a business decision. Fine. But I'm also not going to go crazy and be too effusive of the praise for him because he could have done something about it.
So for me, it's kind of complicated because I think it's part of a bigger issue that I have with the sport of Major League Baseball. I'll start with this. His goal of hiring Boras to be his agent and capitalizing on the market and what big money franchises can do is not a technical foul. I don't look at that as, he was out of line doing that. I've documented and talked a lot about how the Boras personality rubs me the wrong way, and his little limericks and his games, I think, is toying with fans' emotions. But there's another factor here, and that is Skubal is a player rep for the MLBPA, and someone in the agent world was telling me that they believe Boras is really trying to aggressively set the tone for the players in this negotiations and even blow it up and try and make it even more in players' favors. And I think there's a chance that Skubal is a co-conspirator with Boras on this, that he wants to have this contract and this, be part of, making mega deals more possible, not less possible, which the owners are after. And I think that they are going to be hardline negotiators for that reason. In, he is a player rep, and, there's nothing wrong with representing your side and trying to get what's best for your group. That is not a flagrant foul either. But Skubal's in the machine now, right? He's with the evil empire, and I'm not sure there's a proton torpedo that can get down an exhaust shaft for this evil empire. And
you're not going to shoot some womp rat for practice?
No. And I feel like everyone should hate the Dodgers. And it's because the Dodgers' local TV deal is a massive competitive advantage. Because of a bankruptcy court ruling, that team will shield more than $1.3 billion from revenue sharing over 25 years. How is the second biggest media market in the country have a baked-in accounting mechanism? It's straight madness to me. And so my opinion of this entire storyline is part my personal raging against the machine. I'm mad at the machine as that produced an environment where Skubal was never going to sign here or probably anywhere and going to get to the open market. Now, not to the extent where I would boo Tarik Skubal tonight, right? I mean, he's just part of a bigger picture. And then I think this is a three-pronged Rochambeau for Detroit fans. Part one is we lose Tarik Skubal. I mean, a dominant, back-to-back Cy Young Award pitcher. That's part one. Rochambeau 2, the Tigers, the organization collectively treated Skubal with great care, right? In Detroit, there's no question that Detroit pays very close attention to pitch limits to try and preserve a pitcher's longevity, a longevity that they now won't get to use. The Dodgers are getting to use it. You know, the Tigers have had twice this year started over 105 pitches. Paul Skeens has done it 9 times. And Skeens might be starting to show the wear and tear of that. But the Tigers treated Skubal in such a way to try and get longevity out of him that they're never going to see. And maybe that was foolish. But Rochambeau number 3 is all of this. We're probably getting a work stoppage anyway. So, you know, that's why I say it's complicated for me. Because it's the business side of the game. And I'm afraid we're about to enter a dark time for Major League Baseball. Because people say that there might not be baseball next year. And I think Boris, Skubal, and the like are headlining we're going to be hardline on the player side, and the owners say they've never been more committed to a salary cap than they are now. And this could get ugly. And that's why my emotions, I see a player in another uniform in the machine, the evil empire, that is indicative of how bad the situation is in Major League Baseball and the storm that's coming. Like I said, for me, it's complicated.
Yeah, well, it is complicated. Sounds like you should do that simulator I was doing yesterday.
No, I'm never going to do that simulator. For fun, I like to do TurboTax.
Oh, Doug.
I can't believe you like that game.
It was
fun.
I can't
believe you like, hey,
it was
whatever.
Fun. See different outcomes. But, I mean, look, you get to also look at issues that baseball has. And baseball has a lot of issues. And, like, I don't want to go into the whole CBA thing because it's awfully complicated. I've got really strong opinions on it that, you know, aren't going to help anything out here on August 28th. But suffice it to say, you know, I think the Dodgers represent everything that's wrong with the sport. And it's kind of no fault of their own. They were allowed to do it, right? Hey, we're just going to try to see if we can push this deal through with the media deal, and baseball didn't have an issue, so it went through. Hey, we're going to keep paying these ridiculous salaries out there because we know we have the revenue to back it up. We've got the money coming in. It doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, we can give Shohei Ohtani a $700 million contract. Doesn't matter. You know, Kyle Tucker wants to make $60 million a year. Here you go, buddy. We got that for you. Yeah, we'll trade for Skubal. We'll give up a few prospects, not our top prospects, but we got enough guys here. I hate everything about the Dodgers, but they're doing everything within the rules of the game. It's like they can hold up their hand and say, not our fault. You know, I mean, people want to come here and play for us because we do everything we can to try to win. And in some degrees, in some areas, it's a lot to be praised for. But in the end, all of those reasons are going to contribute to a potential work stop.
Okay. Look, people are going to be in a stance tonight. There's some debate over what the reaction's going to be. I personally don't expect there to be boos. But it was funny talking to Tom Milliken, who produces the morning show. He came out during a commercial break and said they're getting an undercurrent that there might be. And it might not be a few people. And I don't want to misrepresent what Detroit fans are thinking, which is why we open up the phone lines and talk to you. What are your emotions with Tarik Skubal coming back to Detroit? 248-539-9797. It's Karsch and Anderson, 97.1.